break been?
I think it's been good. I think we've had some banged up people that have gotten healthier. Um, we were able to give Sarah 2 practices before our days off after the last game because, her ankle was still bothering her. We're getting closer, on Asia. So I think in a lot of ways it's been good to circle back, and we've gone shorter, tried to be intense, tried to be very intentional fundamentally, offensively, defensively, work on things not necessarily opponent-based, but just like, hey, if anybody watched Kansas against Arizona, Kansas was really good in their ice defense. So just even working against ice, even though we may not see that for 6 weeks, to just kind of get our kids to understand different ways that people are going to defend us. So it's been good.
You mentioned Asia getting close. She, put that out there the other day that she was, hope to return soon. Do you have kind of a timetable in which she played even on Thursday?
Yeah, I think we're still kind of, we still have to go day to day. We have to see, does it swell? What's her pain tolerance? There's an increase in mileage. And, one of the things that, over time data has shown us is that, it's so easy to think, hey, they're healthy now, let's go. But there's a knee component, but there's also a you're not in basketball shape component. So we know enough now about how to bring people back and control their mileage so they can start to get their conditioning back so that they don't do something to keep themselves out longer because you don't bring them back the right way. So we're just going to be really, really careful because, we want to be the healthiest we can be in March. And so I'm excited to get her back, but also trying to be really, really careful.
Is there a competition right now between Bella and Dari for who can get more Freshman of the Week?
The good part, at times, we've had a lot of games where, especially in some of the closer games, where it's been one or the other, that's been in there, kind of splitting time at the 4. And so you look at some of their minutes in those games, and, they'll each play 20 minutes. And, but trying long-term to play them together, which we were able to do more against UTA and we'll have to do as we do get healthier because age is going to take a lot of those minutes. And so, I think that, I think consistency-wise, I was discouraged for Dariana a couple weeks ago when she didn't get it after she had like 16 rebounds. And I do think Bailey Maupin had a great week that week for Texas Tech, or if it was Jazz Shavers, because they've had a couple freshmen of the week as well. But just definitely want to see her be rewarded. I mean, Bella obviously sometimes scores more because she stretches to the arc, but I think they're both so valuable to us that it's great to see them both get those individual honors.
Coach, you've been someone who, from the jump, has been pretty vocal about getting Brittney back, and obviously this week. What was that moment like for you?
Emotional. Thursday morning, you kind of woke up to the news, because we had played Wednesday, and so, I'm usually up at 6 to come in here and work out, but not that day, knowing we were off, and I was traveling to recruit that day. So, kind of got the news, as I was waking up, and so pretty euphoric. If I'm being honest, as the day went along, euphoric and discouraged at the same time, that people just couldn't be happy. So a little discouraged about that, because I don't think we should be comparing human lives. But that's pretty much all I'm going to say relative to that. I'm really happy that she's home. I'm really happy that she seems to be okay. I think she's scarred, and I think there's probably a lot of healing and a lot of things that have to happen for her, but just happy she's home.
To that end, and I'm sure there's a lot of things that would go into this too, but do y'all have thoughts about doing something ceremony-wise, maybe trying to bring her in this season?
I think it's really too soon to say. I think we're all going to be on BG's timeline. I firmly believe that this is just as you heard, or probably saw the quotes from her agent about, she got in and dunked in a workout, and but certainly isn't going to make a decision in the next week about whether she plays in the WNBA. But I think what people have to understand is why that conversation is happening is that free agency starts January 15th and in the WNBA. And so if you're a franchise, you kind of need to know, whether you can count on your 6'9" superstar or not. And so knowing who she is as a person, that's going to happen in a month, and it's going to probably feel like it flies by. But I think for her, everything at this point, I'll just funnel through her agent, who's been so incredible through this whole process, to see like what she's up for, before we try to do anything ceremonial.
What do you see from Tennessee State?
Chaos. They're their coach worked at Auburn for a long time. For Terry Williams Fournay, and I'm going to say that name wrong, but, always pressed, always created, 1, 2, 2, 3/4 court, full court, will press you after makes, after misses, after free throws. Tennessee State is athletic, and they just kind of come in waves. They're going to run about 6 or 7 different presses. And they create chaos out there. You can get to some easy shots if you don't turn it over, but they're turning people over 25 times a game. And so, if you're poised and you handle it, you can get really good shots against them. But you have to be poised because I told the team today, they're not going to know whether they're in their man run and jump, whether they're in their 1-2-2, whether they're in their diamond. And you can't predict. I can't tell them if you dribble in this area, they're going to trap, because they may just jump the ball at any point with the top 2 in their 2-2-1. They may wait and you start dribbling down the sideline. I think they just try to be aggressive and play off one another. And anytime you float passes, they're going to shoot through the passing lanes. And so we're going to see some 1-3-1. We're just going to see a variety of different defenses. And then really good athleticism. I think when you get them in the half court, they're not as good as if they're playing off of turnovers.
Nicki, is Bella just one of those that's better coming off the bench, you think?
I did something the other night that I do not do. I really like. I almost pride myself in not getting frustrated quickly at mistakes. And thinking players struggle when they constantly are looking over their shoulder, and if I make a mistake, I'm coming out. But I felt like certainly my antennas were up to the quality of the opponent that I thought UTA was, and I wanted to get off to a good start. And I thought, when Bugs missed a couple layups early, I thought, let me just let her rest. And then I put Bella in. She missed 2 layups and 2 free throws. All right, let me try Kendra. And then they were both better, once they had gone in, gotten that out of their system, and then went back in the game. And so, I think with Bugs, she seems to show less open frustration, when things don't go her way. She's pretty even-keeled, really amazing teammate. Bella can get in her own head. If she misses an open shot, if she makes a mistake defensively. And so I think in a lot of ways, she is better coming off the bench because she doesn't put that pressure on herself to be good from the jump, Not that she doesn't want to start, not that, any of those things. I just think many games she struggled the first time I've put her in. the first time she's catching up with the speed of the actual game out there and the speed of the decisions you have to make. She seems to get better as the game goes along, as she gets more comfortable. Now, what you have to guard against is the idea of, like, are you getting better because now you're getting comfortable? Or are you getting better because there's less pressure because now we're up 25 points and now you can drive it and shoot a step back? And coach probably isn't going to be mad. And if she'd have pulled the step back out in the first quarter, the minute she checked in, there might have been a quick yank, because there are certain things that drive me crazy. And so, I just think it's getting used to the pace of the game, getting used to the different types of opponents you're going to face, getting used to what are they doing against us, getting used to, okay, coach puts me in at this time at the 4, but then the next time she puts me in at the 3, and making that, kind of that mental adjustment in what the expectations are at that position. And so I think that's where, what she brings is a kid that can really shoot it and then is so bouncy and will go get us offensive and defensive rebounds. So it's a nice luxury to have coming off the bench. I don't know, that was a really long answer to whether she's just better coming off the bench. She's better right now, I think, coming off the bench.
Coach, just in case, obviously, I know we'll talk to you after Tennessee State, but what's the cool element about what's going to happen Sunday and the fact that the men and the women get to play in the same arena right after each other and get to play Power 5 opponents?
Yeah, I think it's a really cool event, period. I mean, I think the idea, the coast-to-coast challenge, and UT playing a couple games, real quick, like I just read that Aaliyah Moore tore her ACL, so kind of prayers up for the Texas women, and she was playing so incredibly well in her sophomore campaign, so really sad for them, and prayerful that, she has a successful surgery. But I think just the idea of both Texas teams and Baylor playing in there and making it a day, and hopefully an incredible atmosphere. I know we have a lot of Baylor alum in Dallas, and certainly drivable for all the Central Texas people to get up there. And so I think it's something that you don't want to miss. I mean, Arizona, 2 top 25 teams, and then, it'll be great, just to stay and watch our men play as well, and get to mix and mingle, and hopefully, after a W.
Maybe, obviously y'all had some time for finals and stuff. Y'all itching to get back out on the court?
Yes, we played Thursday, so we actually still been practicing. We had 2 days off, so that was much needed for finals. So Monday was my last one, and I graduated on Saturday.
Yeah, how exciting is that?
Very exciting. I mean, it's my second degree, but, still exciting.
What'd you get your master's, or what are you getting your master's?
Educational psychology.
What do you want to do with that?
So my major was sociology of criminal justice, so maybe I can find a way to blend those two together and either work in police work or in education.
Asia said on Twitter the other day that she's looking to get back on the court pretty soon. How much of a lift will she give y'all when she does come back?
A huge one. I mean, you guys saw the impact she had in she got to play 3 games. Just her ability to go out there and just dominate, whether it's on the boards, whether it's scoring, and just the presence she brings. Like, I know personally, I hated playing against Asia. I hate playing against Asia in practice too, because I'm like, dang, she's just so good. But no, just her presence is going to be a big boost when she gets back out there.
Just off of that, how much have you learned from her? I know you haven't had to play against her a ton, but.
So much. Honestly, Aisha's like a big sister to me, and I'm really thankful for her. This transition to college has been one of the most difficult things that I've ever done, just because, like I've said a million times before to you guys, the change in pace, just all the new little details that I have to pay attention to. But she always pulls me to the side, and she's like, hey, kid, like, you're doing good. You got it. So it's been really nice to learn from her.
That's what she calls you, hey kid?
Yes.
Are you now just trying to see who can win more Freshman of the Week?
I told her, I said, you can have one, and then I can have one, and we can just keep going back and forth. But no, we've joked about that a little bit, but I'm super proud of her. Like, honestly, When we first came in, it seemed like we were going to have to compete more with each other for playing time. But as Coach Nicki has put us into our separate roles of things that we're each better at than the other, I feel like that's only helped boost each other. And I don't know if you noticed, but when she's in, I'm going crazy. When I'm in, she's going crazy. So that's my girl.
Jamie, when your shot was struggling earlier in the year, how tough was that? And did you just have the mindset to just keep shooting and it'll come?
Yeah, I think I was just in my head. A lot of outside things was going on, and I'm usually better at separating outside in the court. But the beginning of the year, I kind of struggled with that, and I just got in the gym, and sometimes I took a break from the gym, and up to Florida, I just told myself, like, you can't keep playing like this. And, I had a good game. I had 3 good games in Florida, and then I came back, and I didn't shoot as well, but then I came back and shot it well. So I'm like, I have to be more consistent with myself because I know what I can do. I'm a 5th year, and I've always been a person never get too low and never get too high.
Jamie, what do you think you'll learn in that time off in between games that you guys can now utilize when you have 2 games and kind of that 4-day span?
Get what you need to get done, whether it's school, rest, eating well. I think it's important that we get a lot of rest, and she gave it to us, and we came back and had a really good practice. Finals is coming, and so far I've heard everyone's been passing, so that's good. Getting a lot of rest is important, especially since we have 3 games in, 2 weeks or so, and then we get Christmas break, and then we're right back at it after Christmas break.
They call this one the screen game because of all the little kids.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna be there. I mean,
Yes.
y'all excited about the energy?
Yes.
It's going to be so fun.
Sometimes I hate though when we're shooting free throws and they're screaming. It's like, someone needs to teach them to be quiet when we're shooting.
Is there better prep on earth for a Big 12 road environment other than that?
Yes, it is. Especially going to places like Iowa State and Texas. I think that the little kids help us a lot.
Y'all were little kids when Brittney Griner was playing here at Baylor. Did either of y'all watch her back then, and any thoughts on her being back in America?
Glad she's back.
Absolutely.
Happy to hear that she's back with her family, and that's it.
Yeah, I loved watching BG growing up. I remember I always told my parents, I was like, that's how dominant I want to be whenever I play one day. I'm not quite that big, but, I still try to do what I can with what God gave me, but super grateful that she's home and safe.
Bella, for you guys, obviously you played Maryland already in terms of a ranked team, and now you'll have a chance to play Arizona on Sunday. For you specifically, what are those things that you can learn from Maryland and Arizona, respectfully to some of the other opponents you played, maybe you haven't gotten that same learning or growth?
Honestly, I feel like just coming in and making sure that I'm consistent off the bench, and just doing the things that Coach Nicki expects of me, like the rebounding, making the hustle plays and things. I feel like as long as we just play consistent and keep our heads and play our game, we should be fine. So.
Bella, has Nicki talked at all about getting 4th quarter Bella the rest of the game?
She says she always uses the phrase second half Bella. That's her thing. We'll be in the locker room at halftime. She's like, okay, I need second half Bella, kid. Let's go. But no, absolutely. Like I said, just working on that consistency. I feel like that's something that you have to learn as you are put into situations, and especially since she's been gracious enough to give me more playing time and more opportunities, I need to step it up and bring 4th quarter Bella all the time.
And are you've done both. Do you feel like you're better coming off the bench, or do you relish that role a little bit?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I started one game. The game that I started was a little, but I think coming off the bench just helps me to focus in really on what we need as a team, whether we're not making bunnies around the rim or being super consistent with hustle plays and things. I feel like coming off the bench gives me an ability to gauge what we need and then come in and bring that and match the intensity.
That's it.
All right, thank y'all.